I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, I was into mid-century before it was cool, but I kind of was. Hey folks, thanks for joining me. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, I hope that you'll do so. I share videos here every week about organizing and decluttering your home and just making your space the best it can be. So I hope that you'll stick around. So today's video, I'm really excited about this topic. It's been a little bit nostalgic for me to think about this. I want to talk about what we can learn from our best purchases. So as a professional organizer, I work with a lot of people in their homes, and usually the focus is on getting rid of things and about determining what things are not bringing value to them and what they can part with. Because most people need help getting rid of some things in order to declutter and to get organized. But I think this is an important question to ask in terms of the things that we should keep. What are those things that really do bring value to our life? What are those things that we use all the time or that we've had for years and they're still going strong? I think there is something we can learn from that. And I thought the best way to talk about this would be to share with you 5 of my best purchases, and I'll be breaking down a little bit why I think that's the case. I hope this will be a little bit fun as well, because I'll give you a peek into some of my decorating. I don't know about you, but I'm always curious to see what people do in their homes and how they decorate, and that's probably why I do the job that I do. So the first best purchase that I want to share with you is a set of dishes. And I have had this set of dishes for going on 20 years now, and it's this. This is my pattern. It's called Star Glow, and it's actually labeled on the back. And this is a vintage set. It was manufactured in the early 60s, and I guess it would be considered space age, which was kind of a trend during that mid-century period. And I came across these dishes. Actually, a friend of mine found them in a thrift store, and the entire set was some ridiculous price, like $5. And she thought they were cool and picked them up, but then she realized she really didn't have any use for them, and she offered them to me, and I have been using them every day since. So I have a pretty full set of these, including the large plates, some small plates, 2 sizes of bowls. I have the sugar and creamer and a big platter. And then the other thing that is really funny about this set is it was manufactured with matching ashtrays because, I mean, it was the early 60s, right? So of course you need matching ashtrays to your dishes. I love this set. The pattern just really speaks to me. I love the color. It's kind of this like mustardy yellow pattern. This is just an era of design that I personally love. It's my favorite era of design. I have been using things from the 50s, 60s, 70s in my home for many years. This style is very trendy right now, but I have enjoyed it before it was a trend, and I think I will still enjoy it once it's no longer being sold at Target. So this set of dishes was a great purchase for a couple of reasons. First of all, it was an amazing deal, and the fact that I've gotten almost 20 years of use out of these and I only spent like less than $10 on it is phenomenal. But aside from that, these dishes have held up amazingly well. And when I think about it, when I started using them, they were already 40 years old or so, and now I've been using them an additional 20. So these dishes have been used by somebody for like 60 years now, and they're still going strong. A few of them have a chip here and there. There's some scratches on the surfaces of some of these pieces, but overall, they're in great condition still. I think the lesson here, if you're into vintage things and you find something that's already pretty old and it still looks good, that's a good indication that it's a really good quality item, and it's probably going to stand up to your use for many years to come. Another thing that I like about using vintage things is they do usually come a little bit imperfect. And that actually is kind of good for me because I'm a real perfectionist. And when I buy something that is brand new and it's pristine, I get a little compulsive about keeping it that way. But if I buy something that already is a little bit imperfect, I'm not as precious about it. The second item on my list of best purchases is a set of silverware. I have had these for probably also going on about 20 years. And I picked these up at, I think, either a TJ Maxx or Marshall's, and they came in a set. They were just so simple. I really liked the very plain styling of them. And I was really happy when I brought them home because they have a very nice weight to them. They're a nice quality piece. I don't remember what I paid for them. I don't think it was a particularly expensive set, but they are really nice quality. And again, they have held up great. This is kind of a boring pick for me, but it again is something that I use absolutely every day of my life, and I've been using it every day for 20 years. It's held up great, and I think the lesson with this again is buying something that is good quality, that will stand up to heavy use. I think it also speaks to buying something that's very simple and isn't really part of a trend. I've seen some really cool silverware sets these days that are like holographic rainbow style, and they're so cool. And I look at them, but I'm like, am I gonna want holographic forks and spoons in a few years? Probably not. This really super basic flatware, it's like I'm never gonna get sick of it. And as long as it stands up to use, I will probably have it another 20 years. The next item on my list of best purchases is a coat. This is a really plain black coat. It's kind of lightweight. I can wear it with a scarf in the fall and it's warm enough. I can wear it in the spring. And even on winter days when it's not super cold, I can wear it with a layer underneath and it's sufficient. It's kind of this nylon material. It's not totally waterproof, but it's water repellent. And I bought this coat, I was trying to remember, I have photos of myself wearing it on a vacation in 2003. I found this coat at Target. I'm pretty sure it was around $40, so a really inexpensive item of clothing, but it has held up amazingly well. It still looks okay. It's starting to wear a little bit like around the collar and stuff, but overall, I feel like it still is doing its job. I look periodically for something similar and I just cannot find a coat that fits me this well and that is so simple that it doesn't like scream a certain style or a certain time period. I think that again, the lesson to be learned from this particular item for me is the fit is amazing. It fits me like perfectly in the shoulders. And it's not too long. The sleeves are not too long. I'm only 5'2", so these are hard things for me to find in a coat. It's also just so simple. It's a classic style. It never really looks out of style, even though it's really old now. I can take those lessons and apply them to future purchases. And really the reason why I haven't replaced it yet is because I haven't found something that checks all those boxes the way this coat does. Another one of my best purchases is a set of bedroom furniture. This came into my life about 15 years ago. Again, it's a mid-century style set. I don't know for sure when it was manufactured, but I'm guessing sometime in the 60s just based on the style. And this furniture is so heavy duty. I have a long low dresser. I have a large armoire. And then there is a headboard and 2 nightstands. And I actually use these pieces all in separate rooms. I have the headboard and nightstands in my bedroom, but I use the long low dresser for my television, and it has a ton of storage for, I have office supplies, and there's one side that has a door, and I keep my liquor. That's been like my liquor cabinet for many years. And then the armoire I use in the room where I store all my clothes. It's separate from my bedroom, but it has also a ton of storage for clothing in there. I think this has been a great purchase for me. First of all, it was also an amazing deal, and I Can't lie, I love a good deal. But I believe I paid between $200 and $300 for the entire set 15 years ago. Someone was moving, they were just, trying to get rid of it at the time, and I was able to grab it and take it off their hands. It's great quality furniture. It's so heavy, I can't move it myself. I've had to hire movers to help me with it. That part is a little inconvenient, but I feel that it's so worth it. This has been a great purchase for me because I just love the styling. I love looking at these pieces. They really add a lot to my decorating. These larger pieces, especially the case goods, they really are dramatic. They're big and boxy, and they're a dark wood. They have this interesting wood detailing on the doors. I just think they add so much to my decorating scheme. I think the lesson here, as I've been saying, is to buy something that you really love. I didn't purchase these at a time when this style was super in, which is probably why I got it for so cheap, to be honest. But I just fell in love with it, and that's why I bought it. So that, I think, is a good lesson, and sometimes it's worth waiting to find that perfect set or that perfect piece. I could have gone to any furniture store in the area and bought a bedroom set, and it probably would have been kind of generic looking and not as good quality, and to be honest, I probably would have replaced it by now. But because I found the set that was just so perfect for me in terms of my style, it has really stood the test of time. The final purchase that I consider one of my best is an item that I don't own anymore. And I'm gonna find a photo and insert it here, but it was a sofa that I owned for many years. The functionality of the sofa was really unique. It was manufactured by a company called Simply Together. As far as I know, they're not in business anymore, but these were really nice quality furniture pieces, but they disassembled so that the arms of the sofa, the back, the base, they were all separate pieces, and they connected with these metal connectors. So they were very sturdy and felt like great quality once they were assembled, but you could take them apart. This was extremely functional because I owned this sofa and there was also a matching chair during a time in my life when I was moving pretty frequently. I went through a period of time where I moved every 2 years. I did that maybe 3 or 4 times. And if you've been through the moving process, you know that those big items of furniture are really difficult. They are what make the process so hard. And the fact that I had this sofa that could be taken apart and each of the smaller sections could literally be carried by one person, it just made all of those moves that much easier. And I didn't have to worry about getting it up the stairs, or, I've usually lived on the second floor in apartments. I mean, we've all seen that episode of Friends, and we know that that's based on reality. So this sofa just worked so great for me. It held up beautifully to many years of use. And I also got really nostalgic when I was coming up with this list because I learned about this sofa from a TV show that was on, I think it was mid to late 90s. And I'm not sure, I think it was called the Christopher Lowell Show. Does anyone remember this? I believe it was on Discovery Channel. It was at the very beginning of the decorating shows, and he was hilarious, and he was also an amazing decorator, and the stuff he did on the show like blew my mind. And to be honest, he is probably instrumental in inspiring me to go into interior design. So I remember that he featured this brand of furniture on his show one day, and I thought it was genius. I sought that company out and I purchased the sofa and chair based on his recommendation. So I need to look up Christopher Lowell and see what he's up to these days. But if you remember his show back in the day, comment down below, please, and let me know that I'm not crazy here. I think the lesson that I can learn from that sofa that I could take apart and put back together was that it really functioned well for that time period in my life. Like I said, I was moving pretty frequently, and it just made things so much easier to have that aspect of the sofa. The lesson here is to think about your lifestyle and what fits you, and if you keep that in mind when you make a purchase, it will likely serve you really well and will serve you for years. So I hope that little peek into some of the stuff in my home was interesting for you. And I'm really curious to find out from you, what are some of your best purchases? What are some of the things you've had in your home that have been really useful, or maybe they served you for many years and they're still going strong, or maybe you've gotten rid of them now, but you can remember that thing that you used over and over again and it was just such a great value. I'm curious to know what your answers are, so please let me know in the comments down below. So I hope this was a fun video for you, and maybe you learned a few things about thinking about making good purchases when you are shopping for something new. And if you liked this video, please hit the like button. It helps my channel out a lot. And don't forget to subscribe. I share videos here every week about organizing and decluttering and just making your space the best it can be. Talk to you soon.